My friends, I regret to inform you that all is not well in Clarksdale, Mississippi, and they don't want you to know about it, but that's okay because I'm going to tell you. Because a judge just issued an order directing a newspaper to remove an editorial without even a hearing. Now, if that sounds like prior restraint to you, it sounds like prior restraint to me, which is super illegal, right? I mean, you want to order a newspaper to remove an editorial without even an opportunity for the newspaper to be heard. You want to do it in an emergency ex parte. Super. Someone forgot their First Amendment basics, but that's okay. I remember them. So we're going to cover this thing. We turn our attention to the Chancery Court of Hinds County, Mississippi, in Clarksdale versus Delta Press. Okay, great. And we read an order granting a temporary restraining order and setting a hearing for a preliminary injunction. Cool. This matter comes before the court on a verified petition of the city of Clarksdale requesting a temporary restraining order or a hearing on a preliminary injunction. And after review of the verified petition and attorney certification, the court finds the petition is well taken. Do you now? How exciting. The injury in this case is defamation against public figures through actual malice, in reckless disregard of the truth, and interferes with their legitimate function to advocate for legislation they believe would help their municipality during their current legislative cycle. What the fuck? What the fuck? Let me make sure I understand this correctly. Chancery Court of Hinds County, Mississippi, First Judicial District. Let me make sure I understand this correctly. You're concerned that this editorial makes it more difficult for members of the city council to promulgate their preferred positions as the government. Your concern is that if this editorial is allowed to exist, it will be more difficult for members of the city council to advocate for legislation. And so we need to suppress the editorial because it might make it harder for the government to do something. That's the basis of your TRO. It might make it more difficult for the city council members to do. Did I read that correctly? I mean, that sounds like it. Interferes with their legitimate function to advocate for legislation they believe would help their municipality. It sounds suspiciously like what that sounds like. What the fuck? What are you doing, man? What are you doing, court? What do you not understand about this? What does the city council not understand? What does the First Judicial District not understand? What do their attorneys not understand? How are you missing this? I'm not quite sure. Apparently the newspaper's not a fan of the legislation. Sorry that they're not a fan of it, but tough shit. But this is actual defamation against public figures. Fun. The respondents are well aware of the accusations against them, as they've already received a draft of the verified petition, and further notice is not needed until the hearing. Oh, that's good news, right? We don't need a hearing. We are going to do this without a hearing, just because the people are aware. They're aware because they received a draft copy, incidentally, mind you, a draft copy of the complaint. They didn't receive a copy of the complaint. They received a draft copy. And somehow that's enough that we don't need to actually give the newspaper a hearing before we're going to order them to delete their editorial. Do I really need to sit here and explain why this is legally batshit crazy cuckoo town and violates First Amendment basics? Do I really need to sit here and explain to people? Apparently, I need to sit here and explain to the Chancery Court of Hinds County, First Judicial District. Apparently, I need to explain to them that ordering a newspaper to remove an editorial without even a hearing, no. The temporary restraining order for respondents to remove the article, editorial, secrecy and deception erode public trust. This could not be any funnier if I scripted it. This could not be any funnier if I scripted it. It's literally called editorial, secrecy and deception erode public trust. You know what would be really good? What if we forced that editorial to be removed? What if we made the editorial a secret? Right? What if we set this editorial, which says secrecy is bad, what if we just removed it and disappeared it into the memory hole like a secret? That won't erode public trust in any way. Holy shit, the irony is thick, and I can't even believe how thick it is. The thickness is so real, I don't even know where to start. We need to remove the article, editorial, secrecy and deception, erode public trust from their online portals, and make it inaccessible to the public. Super. The petitioner shall post a bond in the amount of $100 as security for any damages the defendant may incur. Well, I feel super good. I mean, $100 will definitely cover those losses for the infringement of the First Amendment. Exciting. Exciting. Should it be determined this temporary restraining order was wrongfully issued? Let me help you out, Judge. Let me help you out. You're making a mistake. You've made a mistake. You've made a mistake. Bail. Bail out now. Bail out now. Bail out hard. The court further orders that a hearing on the City of Clarksdale request for a preliminary injunction is hereby set for February 27th, hereby ordered this 18th day of February 2025. That's super exciting. I'm very excited about all that. Here is the article that they would like you not to see. Here's a copy of it. So you can enjoy this in all of its glory. This is from page 4 of the Clarksdale Press Register, and they have the wrong thing about apparently about the Mississippi City Council and the things they'd like to do. This is their view. They literally title it "Our View: Secrecy, Deception, Erode Public Trust." It's too funny. It's funny. It's horrible. Your Clarksdale Press Register will be the first to say a syntax that would pay police to fight crime in Clarksdale is a good idea. So why did the city of Clarksdale fail to go to the public with details about this idea before it sent a resolution to the Mississippi legislature seeking a 2% tax on alcohol, marijuana, and tobacco? Okay. Mayor Chuck Espy has always touted how open and transparent he is, and it's not like his previous administration over the past 30 years. So why did Espy seek a special called meeting of the board of the mayor and commissioners to finalize details of this move? Just out of raw curiosity, I want to know what the theoretical defamation is here. What is it exactly? I don't know, but someone's going to tell me, I suppose at some point. The notice was posted at City Hall as required by law and said it would give good appropriate notice, therefore, to the media. The newspaper was never notified. We know of no other media organization that was notified. But we back what the city's trying to do. So wait a second. I'm so hurt. My brain can't handle the pain. My brain can't handle the pain. Wait a second. You back what the city's trying to do, but the court said in its finding, and I use that term loosely, it said the problem apparently in part was this would interfere with the legitimate function to advocate for the legislation they believe would help the municipality. But the paper also believes the legislation would help the municipality. They like the legislation. They're just not really thrilled about the way you went about it, but they support it in substance. So how does it interfere with your ability to advocate for the legislation when the paper's like, we like the legislation. The legislation is good. Please, more legislation. That would be great by us. Okay, my confusion continues to grow every possible moment. Okay. We back what the city was trying to do. Apparently saying we back the city is somehow interfering with the city council. I'm not sure. Yes, there are deadlines for submitting legislation to Jackson, but this tax has been discussed in at least 2 meetings and has been reported in the pages of this paper. Has the commissioner or mayors gotten kickback from the community? Until Tuesday, we had not heard of any. Maybe they just want a few nights in Jackson to lobby for the idea at public expense. Oh, maybe that's the problem. We're accusing them of going to Jackson to spend a little money on a theater show. You know, they were going to spend a little money on a theater show, and we didn't think that was a good use of public funds. Oh my God, the scandal, the scandal's real. As with all legislation, the devil's in the details, and how legislation often morphs into something else that benefits somebody else. An idea that sought to pay police higher wages for the toughest job in any community is admirable. But the way the resolution sought by the city of Clarksdale is now written gives us cause for concern. The money, our money, can now be spent to support and promote public safety, crime prevention, and continued economic growth in the city. Does that mean the fire department, 911, Chamber of Commerce, and their pet projects? So we support the idea in principle. We're a little concerned about some of the language in the proposal. We're a little concerned about some of the language. We think some of it is a little amorphous, and we're a little bit concerned that some of the language isn't as clear as it could be about what we're exactly spending money on. We're concerned that this could just become an open money thing that can be used for any sort of pet project or graft that we might want to give money to. We're a little concerned about the language. Maybe you'd like to clean up your legislative language. Apparently that is unacceptable thing. That is unacceptable thing. We're a little concerned about the broad language. Maybe you want to clear it up maybe a little bit. That's too much though. Does that promotion mean giving away candy at Halloween? Maybe it does. Maybe that'd be a good thing to do. I don't know. Maybe that'd be a good thing for that could be a valid thing for, I've actually heard of communities doing that. I don't know if it's ever been done officially by like a city council or a police department, but it wouldn't surprise me. I've heard of like that being done by organizations. So it's probably true that there's some government somewhere which is giving away candy on Halloween so that there's a safe place for the kids to go. I mean, that's not like the most invalid idea I've ever heard of in my life, right? It's like, come by the police station, we'll have costumes and it'll be a safe place for the kids to gather and there'll be candy. Sounds great. Maybe we should spend public money on that. That could be a good thing to spend public money on. But, we have questions. Does it mean giving away candy at Halloween or toys giveaway at Christmas and hosting events where politicians can hand out goodie bags to voters? I don't know. Neither does the paper. They have questions. The questions are too much. This newspaper feels the original intent serves the purpose of all, putting police on the streets of Clarksdale. More police will lead to more patrols. Apparently, those patrols also include raiding newspapers, lol. More patrols will lead to more arrests. More arrests will lead to less crime, and less crime will make us all feel safer in our homes and neighborhoods. Our Clarksdale Board of Mayors and Commissioners have stumped their toe on this one. They took a good idea, let their focus drift, and made us suspicious. Wow, that is the most scandalous editorial I've ever read in my life. Holy shit. That is just the most scandalous from the Clarksdale Press Register. Holy shit. We support the legislation, but we have a few clarifying questions and concerns. And we're concerned that this might just be a pool that could potentially be used for graft other than the purposes for which you're saying the legislation is for. Like what you're saying it's for is to put more police on the street. We think that would be a good idea, but we're a little bit concerned that the money might be spent for other things beyond that. And we're a little concerned with some of those issues, and we'd like to discuss it a little bit more. And apparently this is the editorial that must be suppressed. It must be suppressed. Holy shit. This this cannot stand. These scandalous words on the page. Holy shit. These scandalous words on the page. YouTube is going to take down my video. YouTube is going to take down my video merely because the words on the page are so scandalous, they're legally obscene. They're legally obscene words that they'll be removed. I'm going to be prosecuted for violating obscenity law. This is my last stream ever because I've dared to show this page with you and show you the scandalous words on the page. Wow. It's amazing. This is the most, I don't even know what to do here illegally. I don't even know what to do as a lawyer. I don't know what to do. This is so insane. It's truly hard to imagine I'm not being punked. But it's got a damn exhibit number. It's got an exhibit number. It's got a docketing number at the top. I cleared off I cleared off the top of the page. I do like the fact that they filed the thing on the docket. That was good to make sure that we all were able to see the thing. They put the thing I'm not allowed to see on the public docket. That was a good thing. So nice touch. It's got a docket number. It's got an exhibit number. It's got a judge's signature on it. How is this real? How is this really happening? How on God's green? I mean, okay, I just don't even know where to start. It's so mind-numbing to me on so many legal levels. I mean, do I really have to explain that prior restraint is pretty much a First Amendment no-no? Do I really have to sit here and explain that the court doesn't really have the power to say, like, stop writing the articles, particularly when it's about the city governments? And also, by the way, we're talking about the city government as a whole. I'd like to take note for the most part, although there was one thing about, or they talk about the commissioner or the mayor. So maybe we're talking about an individual, but like, it is not actually possible to defame the government. It is not possible. So on top of it, I mean, it's possible to defame individuals within the government, but it's actually not possible to defame the government. That's New York Times versus Sullivan. Right? I mean, we all remember New York Times versus Sullivan. You remember the better known holding of New York Times versus Sullivan, which is, talking about actual malice with public figures. That's the better known holding of New York Times versus Sullivan, actual malice with public figures. But a lesser known holding of that case is you can't defame the government. You can't defame, it's not possible. It's not possible to defame the government. You can't do it. It's not legally possible. But somehow, I mean, it's so many things. Like, aren't we talking about the government as a whole? Aren't we talking about the government as a whole and the city council and the city of Clarksdale and what they're doing? I'm not even really sure we're talking about individuals. So I'm not even sure actual malice is really the relevant standard here. Actual malice is the minimum legal standard here. The actual legal standard might be, how about it's just not defamation? That might be the actual legal standard. How about it's just not defamation? How about just no? It's not a thing. But this judge decided in their infinite wisdom to issue this thing, and it is blowing my mind. Crystal. It's Judge Crystal. Holy shit. The judge's name is Crystal. I'm trying really, really hard right now to not make comments based on this person's name. But it's Judge Crystal. It's Judge Crystal Wise Martin. Help me. Help me. Judge Crystal Wise Martin. I can't even. 13579. I can't even. I don't know what to say. Wow. Okay, well, that was super illegal. And Judge Crystal, if you're out there, my legal advice to you is bail. Bail hard. Bail very, very hard. Bail all the hard. Just bail, completely bail out of this thing. Issue your orders, revoke this immediately, and just completely bail and possibly recuse yourself from this case, and also maybe consider a different career, because I'm not necessarily sure that judging is for you. I mean, this is pretty bad. It's a prior restraint on a TRO without a hearing. Help me. Help me so much. I have stopped. Uncivil.exe has stopped working, by the way, in case you're curious why I'm just staring at the screen. Uncivil.exe has just stopped working. Well, that was interesting. Please tell your friends about this decision and the article that you're not supposed to know about. Please feel free to tell your friends about the decision and the article you're not supposed to read. Tell your friends. And yeah. And if you live in the city, maybe contact your city council and tell them you don't really like the oppression of the press very much. That's bad. Holy shit! What lawyer for the city? What lawyer filed this TRO? This is what lawyer filed for this. Okay, I have so many questions on so many levels. I have so many questions. What is going on in Hinds County, Mississippi? What madness is this? I don't get it. All right. Well, I guess I have nothing more to say at this time. My pure aghastness of this is just going to have to okay. I want every member of LawTube to do this. This is your job now, okay? This is what I'm tasking you to do, okay? Politely, of course, and in a demanding way, I would suggest that you could inform your other fellow members of LawTube about this, okay? Because I feel like all of LawTube needs to cover this. I'm going to do my part. You do your part too. Every member of LawTube absolutely needs to do a thing about this, because this is some bullshit. And talk about how this is absolute. Every fucking lawyer on LawTube is going to lose their absolute shit. I feel reasonably confident. In predicting all the lawyers of LawTube are going to collectively lose their fucking mind. I've been Uncivil Law, and I hope until later you have a great day. Until later, my friends, have a good one. Bye-bye for now. Holy shit.